Welcome to Sundust Short Horror Stories, where we share real encounters with the unknown. I'm your host, bringing you tales from those who've brushed against the other side. Tonight's cautionary story comes from a seasoned paranormal investigator. Turn down the lights, and remember, don't disturb the dead. They say you're not supposed to disturb the dead. Let them rest in peace. But we never listen. Visiting graves and leaving flowers, that's harmless. It's the ghost hunts, the gadgets, the taunting questions that truly stir them up. I'm a paranormal investigator with over 100 cases behind me. One stands out. On a hot July night, my team investigated an old cemetery. The grounds were silent, no EMF hits, no EVPs bored. We headed to the mausoleum, half a mile in. Pitch black, unnaturally cold, thick with the sweet rot smell of funeral flowers. At 2 a.m., nerves already frayed, we captured orbs and faint voices. Then a clear woman's whisper cut through. Everything's okay. Heard by 3 of us. We packed up fast and left by 4 a.m. Days later, reviewing evidence, my friend Sam revealed she'd been haunted since that night. Wrappings on walls, objects moving, shadow figures in her empty house. It started right after the mausoleum. Suspecting something followed her home, we investigated her place that evening. Evidence flooded in: orbs, EVPs, even a white mist on camera. At 3 a.m. we used a Ouija board, rare for us, to identify the spirits. 2 had attached, one named Mary Ann, the other unnamed. We drove back to the mausoleum with Sam holding an EMF pump to lure them. Mary Ann returned, but the second was gone, pressing the board. Demon. We guided Mary Ann to rest, then raced back to Sam's. No more activity. We figured the demon was lost on the road or set loose. We all took precautions afterward. Nothing followed us. Sam's house went quiet. Lesson learned. Never mess with a Ouija board, and never, ever disturb the dead. That's tonight's tale from the shadows. If you have a short horror story, send it in. Until next time, keep the lights on. This is Sundust Short Horror Stories. Good night.
Welcome to Sundust Short Horror Stories, the podcast where we dive into chilling true accounts submitted by listeners just like you. These are real experiences, raw, unsettling, and shared in the teller's own words that linger long after the episode ends. Tonight's story comes from a hunter who, as a teenager, encountered something inexplicable in the woods near his home. He calls it the mysterious hunter. About 10 years ago, I was out hunting turkey during the spring gobbler season, a short 2-week window when the woods come alive with their calls. I wasn't far from home. I lived right on the edge of the forest, which was perfect because back then, at just 16, my mom didn't want me venturing too deep or too far alone. I'd only been walking for about 20 minutes, strolling along an old logging road, scanning for a good spot to slip off into the thicker brush. That's when I first saw him, a man kneeling in front of a tree, rifle in hand, dressed head to toe in full camouflage. He looked to be in his mid-30s, and he was just sitting there staring right at me with this wide, unnatural smile. Then he started waving, not a casual hello, but a deliberate motion beckoning me to come over. I didn't recognize him at all. No one from town, no family friend, nothing. It felt off, wrong in a way I couldn't quite place, so I picked up my pace and kept walking, putting distance between us. 10 minutes later, my heart nearly stopped. There he was again, way down the hill ahead of me, standing in the open, still smiling that same eerie smile, still waving for me to approach. How? I'd been moving steadily away from where I'd first seen him. There was no way he could have gotten ahead of me that fast, not without me hearing or seeing him pass. Panic hit me like a freight train. My pulse raced, my breath came in short gasps, and I realized I might be in real danger. I turned and bolted back the way I'd come, running full speed toward the edge of the woods. I finally stopped to catch my breath, lungs burning, hands on my knees when I straightened up and looked ahead. I'll be damned if he wasn't right there again this time. Standing dead center on the road, blocking my path, closer than ever, that smile hadn't faded. I had no options left. Heart pounding in my ears, I shouldered my shotgun and yelled at the top of my lungs, "Get away from me. Leave me alone." And then, he just vanished. One moment he was there, solid as anything, and the next, gone, like smoke in the wind. I stood frozen, trying to make sense of it, but my brain couldn't process what my eyes had just seen. Somehow I calmed myself enough to walk slowly, carefully out of the woods and straight home. When I burst through the door and told my mom everything, she went pale, absolutely floored. I described the man in detail. His build, his camo, that haunting smile. She listened quietly, then said, "Jimmy, years ago, my uncle died up in those same hills. A hunting accident, I hate to say it, but the way you describe him, it sounds exactly like him." I stayed out of those woods for years after that. When I finally worked up the nerve to go back, part of me halfway expected to see him again, maybe waving from the trees. But I never did. If it really was my long-lost great uncle watching over the family hunting grounds, well, in some strange, twisted way, I'm glad I met him. Even if he scared the hell out of me, that wraps up tonight's tale on Sundust. Short horror stories, was it a protective spirit? A warning from beyond, or something far more sinister lurking in the woods? You decide. If you've got a true short horror story of your own, send it our way. We might feature it next. Until then, stay safe out there, especially when the trees start whispering. Good night.
Welcome to Sundust, short horror stories, where listeners share real-life brushes with the unknown. I'm your host, bringing you quick chills from the shadows. Tonight, a night shift worker's terrifying encounter with a massive, unnatural flying creature in a remote state park. Turn down the lights. Let's dive in. I work the night shift at a local state parkways maintenance building. It's a massive, isolated structure, the only one of its kind for miles around at night. The place is surrounded by dense woods and open fields with nothing but darkness beyond the floodlights. I've never had any real issues out there, aside from the occasional wildlife. Bears lumbering through the brush or packs of coyotes howling in the distance are common enough that I've learned to stay alert. I always scan the surroundings carefully before stepping out of the building, just in case. One particularly quiet night, I headed out for my usual smoking break. The air was crisp and still, the kind of silence that amplifies every little sound. As I lit up and took a drag, my eyes wandered to the tree line. That's when I saw it. Something utterly eerie, unlike anything I'd ever encountered. It emerged from a tall pine, unfolding into the night sky like a shadow come alive. At first glance, it looked like a giant, slender white bat, to give you an idea of its size. The body alone was roughly as big as a Doberman pinscher, far too large for any normal bat. Its wings were long and membranous, stretching out in a graceful, silent glide as it swooped down and landed atop the maintenance building's roof. I froze, cigarette dangling from my lips. My heart pounded as I stared, trying to process what I was seeing. Then it hit me. A wave of primal fright. I gasped, dropped my smoke, and bolted to my car as fast as my legs could carry me. I jumped inside, slammed the door, and locked it, breathing heavily as I peered through the windshield. Sitting there in the safety of my vehicle, I tried to rationalize it. A super-mutated bat. It sounded ridiculous, even to me, but it was the only explanation that made any sense at the time. Some rare species. My mind raced through possibilities, but nothing quite fit. Then, without warning, it took flight again. This time, it passed closer. Close enough for the parking lot lights to illuminate it briefly. The body and wings were undeniably bat-like. Pale, almost ghostly white skin stretched over elongated bones, slender and aerodynamic. But the head was wrong. It wasn't the flat, snout-like face of a bat. Instead, it resembled something else entirely, elongated, almost primate-like, with features that didn't belong on any creature of the night. Dark eyes gleamed as it banked overhead, silent except for the faint rush of air from its massive wings. Terror gripped me all over again. I finished my cigarette in the car, chain-smoking actually, before sprinting back inside the building once I was sure it was gone. That was the last time I ever saw it. I never told a soul, not my coworkers, not my friends, nobody. I kept waiting to hear if anyone else had spotted something similar. A news report, a whisper among park rangers, anything. But nothing ever surfaced, no other sightings, no rumors. It vanished as mysteriously as it appeared, leaving me to wonder if I'd imagined the whole thing or if something ancient and unseen still patrols those isolated woods at night. To this day, I take my breaks inside. That's it for tonight's chill. What was that thing? If this one got under your skin, smash that like button, share with a friend, and subscribe to Sundust short horror stories for more true terror every week. Sweet dreams. Or whatever's watching from above. Until next time.
Welcome back, memory keepers, to Sundust short horror stories, where some losses never drift downstream. I'm your host, and tonight's listener-submitted poem becomes a heartbreaking, skin-crawling tale called Weeping River. If you stare long enough at the slow brown curve of the Blackwater River, you might catch a glimpse of him. A small boy with sandy hair plastered to his forehead, deep blue eyes wide open, drifting just under the surface like he's floating on his back, gazing at the sky. He never fights the current, he just glides past the same bend every few years, pale arms out, clothes from another decade clinging to him. Most folks in town have forgotten his name. New families move in, kids grow up hearing only vague stories about that drowning back in the day. Another year passes and the boy stays 8 forever while the rest of us age. But I remember. I was there the afternoon it happened. We were all playing on the rope swing, me, Tommy, Sarah, and little Jamie with his bright sandy hair and those impossible blue eyes. Jamie was the smallest, always begging for one more push, one more turn. Tommy gave him the biggest swing yet. Jamie flew out over the deep pool laughing, then the rope snapped. Hit the water wrong, hard, didn't come back up. We screamed, Dove searched until dark divers came the next day. They dragged the river for a week, they never found him. The current in that stretch is treacherous, undercut, snags, deep holes that swallow things whole. Everyone said the river took him, case closed. Tragic accident. But I knew better. I saw Tommy's face when the rope broke. Saw the quick, sly flick of his pocket knife right before he handed it over. He'd been jealous of Jamie for months, how the adults fussed over him, how Sarah always picked Jamie to sit beside at lunch, how easy everything seemed to come to that little kid. Tommy planned it, and the river helped. Years rolled on, we grew up. Tommy moved away, became a salesman, got married, had kids of his own. Sarah left for college and never came back. I stayed, took over my dad's hardware store, married, raised a family. Every few summers someone reports seeing the boy float by. Just a glimpse. Then he's gone around the bend. I always knew he was looking for something. Last month, Tommy came back to town for the first time in decades. Said he wanted to reconnect with his roots, visit old friends. He looked older, gray at the temples, paunched from too many business lunches, but those eyes were the same. We met for a beer. He joked about old times, never once mentioned Jamie. The next morning, Tommy went missing. His rental car was found parked near the old rope swing, shoes and wallet neatly on the bank, no note. Search parties combed the river again, divers, boats, drones, they didn't find him either. But yesterday I walked down to that same bend at dusk. The water was still mirror calm, and there they were, 2 small shapes just under the surface, drifting side by side. One with sandy hair and deep blue eyes, the other darker, older, face twisted in terror, hands clasped tight. The little boy wasn't alone anymore. He'd waited all these years for his friend to come back and play. And now they'll float that bend together,
Forever 8 and forever 47. The river always keeps what it's owed. That's Weeping River. Some playmates never let go. If that one made the water feel a little cold or hit like, subscribe to Sundust short horror stories for more every week. And comment below, ever seen a face in the current that shouldn't be there? Felt watch from under the surface? Share your story, we'll keep it afloat. Thanks for listening. Stay out of deep water, friends.